Alrighty, so daily recap. Let's start with GU. So daily time frame, daily is bullish, internal is bullish, waiting for price potentially to continue to the upside. Because we just shifted bullish now, I'm expecting price to maybe respect this flip area and just push to the upside. Although we could go to the extreme, but um, once we shift structure, what I've noticed is that usually we go and find the nearest demand and then just continue bullish from there rather than mitigate the demand because the momentum is very strong usually after we shift structure. So I'm expecting price to continue bullish from this daily demand. H4 coming to today, internal is bullish and swing is bullish. We started that pullback, that deeper pullback, potentially into deeper demands. I had that demand drone. We could see price come to that demand, then push higher or deeper into lower demands, right? Just thing to notice, this demand doesn't have any inducement, so it's not the strongest. This extreme internal demand has inducement, so this is more probable than that one. Price was there. All right, was expecting price to push lower. So I was bearish for that day. Looking at the 15-minute, M15 is bullish, internal is bearish. At that point, when I came into the market, my internal was that one, right? Internal was there and my internal low was there. I had that supply drawn out, but price, unfortunately, it had the inducement, was very good supply to look for a sell from. We had an LC2A, but price just pushed through that supply, swept the highs. That's fine. I mean, it swept the highs, it swept um, the supply as well. So I was like, sure, if we get a chock, then maybe we get a fresh supply to look for sales from. Exactly, that's what happened. We got a chock, so that was our supply. Went to the 5-minute, waited for an entry. Unfortunately, we didn't get any. I was waiting for potentially an LC1, but we didn't get any. All these candles break the previous candle's low, and price just pushed through that level, mitigated the extreme of that supply, and just pushed lower. We didn't get any entry, unfortunately, which is fine. And yeah, then price just ripped to the downside and continued bearish, giving us two new internal structures. That's internal high, internal low. That one is weak. All right. And that's our strong internal high, leaving us with one extreme demand right there that doesn't have inducement. I mean, extreme supply that doesn't have inducement. So this doesn't have inducement. Although we have that wick there, but I wouldn't count that as inducement. So no liquidity there. Yeah, earlier today we had a bit of a setup, even though I don't trade phase B, but so on the M15 we got that choke, got a fresh supply, fresh demand, right? We got that choke from previous demand, and that demand is the flip that caused us the boss. Had inducement as well, so it was alright. But price gave us a choke, a new demand area, alright, and then we got an LC1 there. Our entry was here, stops below demand, and TP was 1 to 3 there. But I didn't take the trade just basically because we're heavily bearish and at any moment we could just continue to the downside. I prefer not to trade against the internal in this scenario, although it's pro swing, counter internal. It's within discount. It's in a very good demand area that has inducement, but I was just not confident with trade, so I didn't take it. Trade continued and gave us nearly 1 to 3, I would say, and closed right there for 1 to 2. But yeah, so these are basically, that's the only trade there. I didn't take it. It's not in my plan, but Yeah, so what we'll expect for next week potentially. Um, for next week, I'm just reacting. I'd assume that price would continue lower, because we didn't yet mitigate any demand. Although we mitigated the daily demand, but I'm not sure yet if we're gonna push lower or continue higher. But minimum for me to continue higher, I need the chalk, an H4 chalk, and that chalk would be that line there. So I'm still waiting for a potential chalk there, and then reassess and see if price is gonna potentially continue to the upside or not, right? But meanwhile, for meantime, I'm looking to follow the internal and look for sells until potentially one of the demand areas, right? Uh, so yeah, let's see what next week we'll do for GU. All right, now EU. What happened on EU? Daily, we basically just had that truck, so we could see a potential continuation to the upside from that demand, this whole candle range. So I was still looking for buys in the long run, but for now, perhaps sells would be more optimal. So once so the swing is bearish, internal is bearish, but we just swept that internal high there. Um, to be fair, I'm still expecting price to push to the downside, to the upside, sorry, in the long run. Um, I'm still bullish as long as we respect that demand. If we get a choke there, then I'm not bullish anymore. All right. Um, and then I'll have that internal low as my target because that whole range will fail because it couldn't give us a closure above the internal high. So that will be my last invalidation point, this demand right there, on the H4. Coming in today into the market, we were basically there, and I was expecting price to push to the downside, mitigate that demand, and then decide and see where price wanna go. All right. So on the M15, swing is bullish, internal is bearish, classic. I was waiting for price to push to the downside, push lower. We had that as our internal high, internal low. Price just pushed through, mitigated that demand, gave us a first shock and liquidation, and then another shock, leaving us with one unmitigated extreme, which was this one. Had inducement, was very good extreme, but unfortunately, price didn't mitigate it. Didn't respect it and just pushed through. Swept the highs, yeah, closed above, and then pushed to the downside and just gave us a shock and broke below, right? So although I thought that price gave us that boss and we would continue bullish, but no, we just pushed to the downside, leaving us with a new internal range. So that's our internal high, that's our internal low. We have that as our only extreme, only unmitigated extreme, right? It has inducement in front of it. We just swept that inducement. We could see price potentially continue higher, and then from here perhaps look for an entry and LC2A, and get into the trade targeting the internal lows. I would say that for now, following the internal is the correct choice because we're not yet sure if price is gonna continue bullish or bearish, right? So just follow the internal and wait until we get potential break of an internal high or low, and then it would give us a confirmation of the direction bias. But for now, we'll wait for price to potentially give us any sort of chalk from this area, and my chalk line, my H4 chalk line is there. So if we get chalk, then that's a very good sign that price will continue to the upside, right? But for now, we're bearish. Internal is bullish though. We mitigated premium, discount. So at any moment we can just shift bullish. Um, so yeah, I need to be very careful with my targets. We only have one unmitigated demand there, and the other is there. So I need to be very careful with taking trades, sell side trades, and wait for potential more confirmation, and And yeah, then see if price will continue higher or lower. Just the thing to notice is that our on DXY, right? We're still heavily bearish, and I'm expecting price to continue bearish from this level on the H4 and on the daily. So that would mean that the XY is bearish for me. I'm still bearish on the XY. So at any moment we could see a continuation to the downside, right? We mitigated the H4 supply and that M15 refinement, right? That would be our IBOS, and our internal low would be that one. So that's our internal low. We had the sweep of liquidity there today. That happened today. There, and that's our only unmitigated demand. And that's our weak high, sorry. That's the internal weak high. Right? But because of the H4 narrative, we could still see a potential push to the downside and a choke. If you get that choke, then it's confirmed that the XY would be bearish, and all the other players then would match what the XY is, and they will continue bullish. So that will give me more confidence to look for buys rather than sells, and follow the M15 that was bullish in both GU and EU. So sorry, that was it. Yeah. So it gave me more confidence that this demand will hold as well in EU and GU, right? So let's see what price will do. For now, this week has been a bit amazing, to be fair. It's been amazing. We got 5R in profit, which is not bad, past phase one. Phase one of 200k Alpha Capital Group, so it's not that bad. Let's see if next week we can pass phase two and potentially get funded. And yeah, just for a few tips for next week. Focus on high probability setups only. Take only trades that have only supplies or demands that has inducement in front of it. Wait for an LC to A at the extremes, or choke on M15 on any level that's not an extreme, right? And then once we got that choke, wait for a small range and wait for an LC1. Never take an LC1 in a big range. And yeah, so this is all. That's all for now. Beautiful week. Let's see if next week would be better.